We're not the alpha, but we are the Omega level nerds. Well, here we are, the finale of season 1 of X-Men 97. Creator Bo DeMeo did a great job. But hey, not just me. J100's right there. And I'm really privileged, I gotta say, I'll keep blabbering on for a minute before I even let you get in a word edgewise here. But I gotta say, I really appreciate the fact that I've gotten to share this with you as a non-X-Men fan, because certainly I can give you that, X-Men fan forever, type take. But really just to see you that's not tied to the comics as much as I am, uh, it's just cool. It's a privilege. So thank you, sir. But hey, how's it going, Jay?
It's going good, man, and I appreciate that because at the same time, um, I appreciate having the ability to know that if I get too confused or too lost or, even think too deeply or
Yeah.
too far into it or whatever, I have you to fall back on when it comes to, some of the deeper lore, where things go and how you think about it and all that kind of stuff like that. So, uh the appreciation is reciprocated.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're all about here. But so before we move, because there's a lot to talk about. There's going to be a lot of key points here and whatnot. Boom, boom, pow, all that. But just for those rare few that are watching this right now, you have not seen the episode. Quick spoiler free, real quick. So Jay, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at with this one? And do you have any spoiler free thoughts or just anything else to say here before we move on?
I don't know what happened at the end, so I'm gonna say 7. And then keeping it spoiler free, I don't know what happened at the end. So
Okay.
that's my thing about it. It's interesting. Um, I it kept me on the edge of my seat. I just don't understand what happened at the end.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand your thoughts there, though. I'm going to have to go a little bit higher myself. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was a great conclusion, although because we know season 2 and season 3, 4, and however many we know that's coming. So I felt, yes, there was a conclusion here to a saga, but absolutely they're not being shy about like, okay, but boom, we're moving on. Season two's coming. So I could see where people would maybe take points away for it for that. But I dug it. I liked it a lot. So again, 9 out of 10. And we're gonna go right into spoilers here because I'm really interested to hear your take on what happened. But I'll say the interesting thing is I thought Onslaught was coming, and Bo DeMeo, it's like the new Mephisto, right? With WandaVision. Oh, this Mephisto. When are we going to see Mephisto? When's the Onslaught coming? And they were setting it up to where Xavier and Magneto were in each other's mind, and if one mind went, both would go. Again, he just ripped out Wolverine's skeleton, which was like a trigger point for Onslaught, but they didn't go there, and I'm not disappointed. I'm actually very, very happy to be able to be fooled, to be able for them to be able to go in a direction that I don't expect. And although I know a lot about the comic, the source material, I'm loving the fact that yes, we're borrowing some stuff, we're doing some storylines, but it's not in the same way. And so yeah, it's really something that's super X-Men that I get to explore. And
Right.
so right now I'm just super excited that he didn't go exactly where I thought he was going to go. I like that. I like it. Personally, I do. But so fire away though, I know you talked about you didn't understand the end, which I don't know if I 100% do. I mean, am I recalling any sort of comic book storyline or anything that is this? No. So, I mean, maybe it's there and I just don't remember, haven't read it. But so no, I'm not going to have a spectacular explanation for you, but I'd love to discuss it with you. So what's on your mind?
Well, I mean, I guess we could just like go through. I I thought that the beginning was a flashback, so the whole thing about him being in Magneto's mind was cool. And I don't know much about Onslaught, but I do know that that kind of was like a trigger point as well. Same
Mhm.
thing with the taking the adamantium out of Wolverine. Um, I guess I guess it's one of those things where like I'm trying to understand what point the writers are trying to make Magneto's worldview go too far, because no matter what, Professor Xavier and the X-Men are what the ideal goal is for the plot. Whether it happens or not is the whole point of the show, but the way that the story is being written is basically saying Xavier's plan dream is the ultimate ideal goal. These are the things that happened in between time before they got to that point or didn't get to that point or whatever. So that means that then Magneto's problem, and it's kind of like, my girl wants to watch, I think it's Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. But I'm reserved on it because I kind of get into the lore if I'm gonna watch the last one or the fourth one.
Mhm.
So you're not, there's no way you're about to have me sit and watch the fourth movie and I ain't seen the first one yet, which sucks because I've seen the second one. Yeah,
I've not been
I don't know.
impressed by them at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not either. But the one thing that I got out of it though is the thing that made the monkeys go too far, which they did not at all anyway, what shape for whatsoever. But the thing that made them go too far was Koba's his hatred. He couldn't let go of his hatred. And it's like, okay, yes. So this is leading on the Bastion. So then getting on the Bastion, right? Where I don't know, quickly things just fell apart. The rogue fight was great, because it was the main boom boom bow for real. Um Outside of like them being in the asteroid, but
Mhm.
uh uh that was the main fight, rogue beating him up or whatever. And so Bastion is able to have his little monologue or whatnot, and at that point he's like,
He's
the whole
monologuing
tolerance.
all up in there, like, the whole time.
Yeah, right. So, talking about the tolerance is extinction. Okay.
Yeah. He
So
said the thing.
that's kind of like the main thing that I was talking about right before we started. Like that's kind of the reason why I kind of brought it up was his worldview is that worldview. Where like it doesn't matter if it's clear that there's benefits of all of us working together. It doesn't matter that, the mutants could be helpful, even though, yeah, some may be harmful, and okay, well, some humans are harmful, and this, that, and the third, yada, 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 yada. Um, um, it doesn't matter that the ones that believe in it believe that tolerance is extinction. So, what do you do with that? Um, and the answer to that was a Mary Sue.
There was a couple of Mary Sues. I mean, we were talking about Mary Sue in the last episode, but there is
Yeah.
Mary Sue's. Yes, we'll talk.
But we gotta give this I would call it plot armor. It's more plot armor than a Mary Sue.
Mhm.
So I would call it. We got to give it a name. What kind of armor? Cursed armor?
Yeah, fate
Uh,
armor.
something.
So it'll
I guess
come to it.
plot armor, right?
Yeah, I mean it really is what
Yeah,
it is
it
there.
was plot armor. So the answer, and that's ultimately my problem with it because it's like these shows are so great and so captivating, and then like when you're actually following along, and then you like where you're seeing where it goes, it's just like, oh, okay, well,
So how did you
no,
feel?
no
How,
real answer. It was just armor
sure. How
with
did you
Phoenix. That's
feel about
to be clear. That's what I'm
um
talking about.
yes, yeah. Obviously, yes. That she's certainly the Mary Sue. She's the one that Bastion's kicking everybody's ass. She's got the other
Like, where did
X-Men.
that even come from? Can you give me like a in-universe explanation for that? I don't even understand that. Where did Phoenix come from? First off, I thought she was about to die from Cable, and
Right.
then so that stopped. I like that's the one thing about this show that if I can give it any negatives is the moving around.
To get
It's
it
really
is
the
zipping
fast pace,
around, right? Because
really fast.
it has happened a couple times where it's like, oh, that person's dead, and they're not. They really do stick to the if you don't see them like
Right. If it
deceased
ain't nobody.
confirm, yeah, called time of death on screen, it didn't happen. Because yeah, Jean, she didn't die. She was just in the bottom of a pool, and Bastion's, getting ready to basically win. But she Mary Sue's up. Oh, I'm the Phoenix. I'm not the evil Phoenix. I'm Jean Grey with the Phoenix power, and I'm able to take care of everything. Beat up Bastion, put the collar on his head or whatever it is that he loses control of all the Sentinel Primes. Um, yeah, a whole lot. Okay, so a whole lot going on because we got the Xavier and the Magneto thing going, but when it comes to Bastion, um, and I missed it. So he apparently is a mutant. So how do you feel that basically his whole frame of mind, his whole beef is with the fact that he knew he was a mutant or whatever. He wanted Charles Xavier to come for him, and he didn't. And of course, Charles did come for him, but his mother wouldn't let him. So how did you feel about that? How he's basically a mutant who, yeah, is saying the humans would rather die than, let mutants be born from them. That's his way of things, and ultimately tried to create, he tried to bring Asteroid M down to basically do a extinction level event, which of course the
Well,
humans actually end up triggering themselves, but we'll talk about
so his mutation is more,
the technopathy, whatever. Yeah.
yeah, it's more of a infestation than a
Right.
mutation, but
Yeah.
I guess we'll consider it a mutation
They seem to.
because he basically has powers.
Hmm.
So it's one of those things where it's one they kind of killmongered it a little bit. It's literally Killmonger, to be honest with you, in the MCU. Um, it's ultimately the comic book villain trope, which is ultimate nihilism, where everything's got to go.
Yeah, I
Which
want to ride around
I
on in space by
I
myself, or what? Yeah,
yeah,
or be in a dead, empty
I don't quite
planet.
get that one. I don't quite get that one, but at the same time, and for I guess where they want to go for how you ultimately write comics, like the comics, the story arcs are even crazier than this. You know what I mean? Like some
Hmm.
of the story arc comics, especially, excuse me, going through um what's the one? Secret Wars, the rebooted one.
Yeah.
Like that shit's crazy. Like the whole run up to it. I had comics explained The whole like this is a 5-hour long video.
Yeah,
Listen to this dude explain the whole run up to Secret War. What?
yeah, time
So,
runs out. They're
you
dealing
know,
with the Beyonder, molecular
right,
damage.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. Everybody's dead for the most part, for real. Um, uh, all these universes are just blinking out of
yeah.
existence, and then it ends up being it's crazy shit. So, to see it in TV form, when you get the normies watching, um, it makes me want to think about it a little bit more. So, and that's why I feel the Bastion, um, ultra nihilistic frame of thought worldview. But the thing that saves all of that though is his programming from Master Mold originally.
Hmm.
So that reads. It's a well written annoying basic trope. So it saves it. And then that's where I kind of lose it. I lose it here. I lose it at this point. I mean, first and foremost, did the Avengers just try to blow up Asteroid M? What the fuck?
Well, yeah, boy, I got to tell you, more shade on the Avengers way, coming the Avengers way because
I'm about to take this shirt off, bro.
because yeah, basically, as all the mutants are trying to stop Asteroid M from falling onto the Earth and creating an ice age, what have you, extinction level event. The American government, President Kelly, decides that they're going to do the Magneto Protocol, which we find out what that is, which is to shoot a bunch of fucking missiles at Asteroid M and target its gravitational generator or whatever. Um, so they do that, but yeah, Captain America and Iron Man are sitting, right there. They're not sitting at the table. They're standing right there in the same room next to the president. And Captain America's like, "Yeah, you shouldn't do this. This could make it worse." Iron Man doesn't say nothing. T'Challa is on the video. They have a conference call with T'Challa, and he's like, "Yeah, you shouldn't do this." I'm paraphrasing what they're saying, of course, but he's like, "No, you shouldn't do this." But they're like, "Fuck it, Magneto Protocol," and they target Asteroid M, and they don't completely destroy it, and it makes it worse. Um, so in the end, the humans end up, specifically the American government, with Captain America and Iron Man just chilling, just like, oh, this is happening, so we're just gonna stand here and watch. Yeah, they almost cause an extinction level event, but of course, Magneto, after not becoming Onslaught, but remembering who he was, and I guess remembering his part in the dream. So I guess he is turning from heel to face here. Although again, we've said on the show, there's not hating Magneto is kind of hard here. Especially though, full circle, he's the one who ends up saving the humans from the near extinction event that they just tried to cause.
But it's one of those things where, as you're saying it, it just hits me in the face. Okay, so Magneto's gonna save you again, and so Magneto's gonna be cool again.
Until
And then so here's the thing about this that really kind of grinds my gears. And this is, I guess, like in real life a little bit of my point too, where it's like it's not like one, two, no, two, three people out the blue like do some crazy shit, and we're like, oh, it's terrible. No, this is like institutional, systemic stuff that is being deployed. Like groups of powerful people are making multiple decisions to make all the things happen all at once. I'm talking X-Men right now, right?
mm-hmm, yeah.
So President Kelly with the damn uh uh Operation Magneto or whatever. Old Blondie that Bastion's got tied up still. Which why is she not dead? But um,
Yeah, I don't know why
you
she's
know,
just chilling there, sitting with
she has her own. She basically calls Krakoa.
yeah.
Unreal. Well, let's have this on record. The United States government was on the ground, allowed Krakoa to happen. They allowed Krakoa to happen. So Magneto's not mad about like, a motherfucker did some shit over here on the south side. No. He's upset about systemic institutional major huge genocidal things happening. So if he's cool and you do this shit again, can we not see what the problem is? And so the real thing about it is the humans will always just continue to go along with this. Why? That's the part about it that drives me insane. That's the issue. That's the part that people are attacking. That's the thing that when people say, "Oh, you're racist," you're like, "No, I'm not racist," but you are, because that's the thing that we're saying is that, like, you may not necessarily agree with the decisions that happen, but you sure do put them in place in order for those decisions to happen. And you won't let anybody else do anything or say anything else about the situation. And we can see this in X-Men too. First and foremost, how's President Kelly president in the first place, considering he said he wanted to be cool with mutants. Then immediately, as soon as he gets power, he's like, yo, to the death of him.
Right. And not only that, but there was another presidential candidate mentioned, Creighton Creed, I believe,
Oh,
which in
he's
the
the FOH
comics,
dude.
right, exactly. He's like, so,
He's the
and they're
FOH
talking
dude.
about, oh, the presidential candidate. So yeah, we're gonna see how that turns out. Probably not good. Um, so yeah, that's the big media literacy part of it. And not only Magneto though, but like Cyclops and Jean Grey, like they reserve themselves to die. So that they destroy asteroid M so it doesn't, cause, to fuck up the earth. They don't have to end up making good on that, but nonetheless, it was there. We got Cyclops, so he did the Marvel vs. Capcom like big beam shit. See, talking
That
about
was
Boo Boo
dope.
Pow real quick though. That's what Nightcrawler fighting Bastion, like teleporting him
Yeah.
in the way of Scott's concussive blast. Scott using his angles and shit. That was the greatest Boom Boo Pow. But
What are you
again,
gonna kill me with the 4th of July?
right, yeah. And well, there's our other Mary Sue though, right? Like Jubilee, right? She does her recite
Yeah,
the Rasengan Shuriken or whatever that she learned during the filler
yeah.
episode. But okay, cool, that
Face
was all
off.
right. But then, like, yeah, she like gets up in his Bastion's face and like fucks him up to the point where like for the rest of the episode, dude's
Jubilee.
just fucking jet. Yeah, so she gets
Like,
a
I fuck
Mary
with
Sue
Jubilee, but
stamp. Yeah,
come on, man.
I'm glad.
Come
Okay,
on, man.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one thinking like,
If that's the
hmm,
case, how we even get this far to this
yeah,
point? We should just Jubilee the motherfuckers.
right.
But don't get me wrong. Get your punch in,
Um,
But like that's where that's where I think um I mean, I don't know what kind of story what the storyline would be if people got their way. But like that's kind of where I can see where people would be annoyed about, the happy stuff. But that's just shows in general when they're always trying to, you know, keep things in line, give people their due. Because without that, I mean, and she did get into a little bit of shit and had to get saved by some spot. But like,
mhm,
but outside of that, like her especially specifically her fight didn't make sense to her power level or power scale,
right.
and was inconsequential outside of, I guess, Sunspot coming through and saving the day. But um but yeah, like it's here where things kind of throw me a little bit. um so what
Well,
happened?
so I mean, well, at this point, Magneto, saves humanity basically, but before that, the X-Men were trying to do it.
Right.
Um, Cable, he gets his arm ripped. This is actually from the comics. He gets his Bastion rips his arm off and beats him with it. So that was that's kind of amusing, but again, a comic accurate. But
So
then uses that legacy
I
virus to like upgrade himself to this dark
right.
angel
Right.
looking
So
fucking thing.
I kind of looked into it a little bit, but how did how 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 does he upgrade? Like he had the one thing that he needed, which was Cable's arm. I don't get it. Like I think I get it,
Yeah.
bec- but
I don't know
I
if
don't
it's
get it.
because it's from the future, because like he's working with Sinister, which don't only forget to talk about that. Um,
Sure. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to. I mean, I forgot to talk about it, but
yeah.
almost forgot about that too.
So you wouldn't think the legacy virus would be hard for him to obtain, but yeah, for whatever reason, and again, I don't know if it's because it's from the future, but yeah, he fucking rips Cable's metallic legacy virus arm off, and yeah, that's like what he uses to upgrade himself. How or why that works, yeah.
I mean, I get it. It's
Yeah,
like
it's comic book shit.
um I guess I forgot what term to use, but
Like that happens in
I
the
guess unpopular
comics.
opinion. I thought that how Tony got the Infinity Stones in Endgame was corny. That's me. Unpopular opinion. I thought that
I
shit
get it.
was whack. Like,
Or he's
oh,
just
Nano just slipped
yeah,
off the Nano. Like, come on, bro.
he made his nanobots take him off and create a real
Yeah.
quick
I
semi
mean,
gauntlet.
cool, yeah, but
Yeah, okay.
plot
Yeah,
armor,
you're right. It's you
plot
well
armor.
that's what it is. And it's, we got to glorify this character before the contract
Same
ends.
thing with Sinister getting old. Plot armor.
Well, okay,
Didn't like that
so
either.
sure, but
Didn't
here's
like
my thing. As much as, Jean Grey, she came up, she married Sue, slapped Bastion around, severed, put the thing on his head to sever his connection to all the Sentinel Primes, and it saved all those people, so all the Sentinel Prime people are good now. But then she took Sinister and took all like his stolen DNA that she was like, oh, you use this to be young and relevant. And so now he's an old man, like, and he runs off like all dejected. He's an old man. I think it's a clone. I don't think that's the Sinister. I don't think that really matters at all, to be honest with you. That's just a funny thing, but I don't think that the real Mr.
Yeah,
Sinister has
I didn't
actually
really
been affected
it
by
like
these
threw
events.
it so we were talking about pacing. That made the pace of the show like completely halt in like an awkward way. Like was so thrown off by his like childish reaction to it and then asking Morph and then why Morph, especially considering that he was connected to the
Right. Like,
dude.
how's it
And
look?
then,
Yeah. Sinister
yeah,
is
I
ridiculous,
didn't,
though. Sinister, like,
yeah.
I
Well, I
know
mean,
right
that's true.
now seems a little bit menacing, but he
Yeah,
really is fucking goofy.
yeah,
Like, to where he like
yeah.
obsesses over capes and stuff, and like, he's got he's got a gun that just shoots cloned Scott Summers eyeballs, and he's like, it's
Oh,
it's just fun. It's not,
oh, all right.
so Sinister's fucking
That's what I be
goofy.
talking about when it. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to the comics. How crazy they are.
Yeah, 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 all day. Um, oh, what else was that? Because before I want to move on to kind of like the future, I guess, because again, that's the big resolution is like, oh yay, because so when the X-Men defeat Bastion, um, they could basically do the kill shot. It's like a whole team's there, Bastion's fucked up, and
Oh
Cyclops,
yeah, I
you
guess
know,
we should definitely talk about this, but
yeah.
yeah,
So the whole moral, which I do like this, the whole moral, although we know it's overall useless, but the whole moral thing is like they're like, hey, we're gonna do what we tell the humans to do. We're gonna embrace the future. So instead of kill you, Bastion, come with us, and everything will be fine. You'll be a mutant. You'll be one of us. Um, and at the last minute, he looks like he's gonna take that. but not before he gets sucked into the black hole that was created by the humans doing the um, Magneto protocol and shooting the reactor with
Is
missiles.
that what happened?
Yeah. What do you mean? What happened to Bastion?
Wait, so humans made him go through time?
No, the go through time. No. Bastion was caught, sucked into where the gravitation engine of asteroid M was exploded.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah,
after
yeah,
that,
yeah,
the whole
yeah.
going through time,
So
them
he's
getting
probably
blipped
dead.
somewhere, right? He's probably
Yeah,
I'm
not dead. He's probably fucked up.
right in some way, shape, or form. I think he's off the board. But yeah, after that, basically, that other implosion happens or whatever. We don't. Yeah, I don't know exactly what that was. Um, but before we move on and talk about that and talk about going into the future, because that has a lot to do with this series continuing. I do gotta say, I gotta give Beast some more props here. Line of the episode when they hijack that Sentinel, and Bastion thinks the Sentinel's coming to help him, and it lands on him. And B says the Greeks love horses. I'm paraphrasing. I'm fucking this up, I'm sure, but it's still funny. But he's like, the Greeks love horses, Trojan horses. And he
Yeah.
says, and irony. I busted out laughing, like laughed out loud actually in a room alone. I'm
His humor is so dry. It's the driest humor.
so he's gonna
Beast
get.
with his desert humor.
I love his characterization in this series. Always have.
Yeah.
Because Beast, like in the comics recently, is kind of a bastard. So almost Dark Beast level. Look that up. But yeah. So I like that. So yes. So all that's resolved. Asteroid M's no longer gonna
Well, I mean,
kill
okay. So
humanity.
I guess that was another point where like I didn't like it. I didn't like it for I guess different reasons than most people would. Because again, I'm looking at this big picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
The world that we're trying to achieve in this universe is a world where humans and mutants can thrive together until unfortunate that time a couple generations from now
Humans are no
that
longer
humans just are not gonna be around or are gonna be rare or whatever. Regular humans.
a high percentage of the humanoids have the X
So
gene.
the issue that I have from the get-go is the racialization of the humans in the first place. Like that just to me doesn't even make any sense and is stupid in the first place. I guess I can understand that like people who don't have powers will be afraid of people who have powers because they don't have powers. So like what am I supposed to do to defend myself? But like the fact that the first thing you're saying is what am I doing to defend myself is weird from, in and of itself. So fast forward all the way to Scott and all them about to, take care of this uber genocidal maniac. And they're like, no, we're gonna we're gonna some of them gotta go, bruh. Some of them can't be here. I mean, maybe in a different time when we were being stupid, that would be needed or necessary, but like no, bro, like that some of that's got to go, and that ultimately is where and why the good side never has or holds on to power. It's one thing in Star Wars that I need to, and I'm desperately wanting to see how it's characterized, is how did the New Republic actually truly fall apart and have this whole other fascist regime just be all right here. I need to know the details because the Empire outside of the Jedi and whatever, and even in this, outside of the X-Men and whatever, fighting it, Magneto, coming through on the plot armor. I, like they're gonna try to murder everybody. So what do we do about that part? Like and I guess that's the part that's hard to write. You know what I mean? But like that's where I get lost and can see why they would need to have the distraction of, oh shit, they got split up through time in order to not answer that right now because they don't have an answer for it. And I guess that's the part that kind of bugs me, is because there's never been an answer, or at least that I know of,
Well,
um, for that part.
so from the way that you're sounding, I think that you're going to, and I think they're going to introduce him here at some point. You're going to love X Force. Because at some point, because right now this is all very idealistic, right? We're the mutants. We want to help the people that hate and fear us, right? And they're doing that to the nth degree. Where like we've seen through this first season all the shit that the humans or whatever, humans, government, whatever, non-mutants, you've seen all the shit that they're responsible for when it comes to genocide of mutants. And yet, with all that, the mutants are still thinking and doing things for the benefit of the humans. And it's that moral high ground that they have that they use to operate. Unfortunately, that's right. That's
Such a
what you think. That should be.
such a stupid moral high ground.
What's that?
It's such a stupid moral high ground. I can't stand it.
Well, I mean, and it's going to bug you even more because, like, they don't really ever get their due for it, right? Like, they're ready to sacrifice their lives to save the humans and all this stuff and show that, mutants shouldn't be hated and feared, that we're here to help. But yeah, they never really get their reward for that. In fact, they usually get quite the opposite. They usually get their population dropped by a large percentage from one way or the other. And that's the tragedy, I guess, of being an X-Men fan, because you have those highs and lows of, oh, they're doing this, and oh fuck, they're
They're
getting
almost
fucked.
there. It seems like they got a solution, and then
So that does
oh,
happen.
Professor Xavier's,
But there are those
with the
lows.
Shihar Empire now. Like what?
You're right. It's ebbs and flows, but it is those lows where
Wait,
shit like
what?
X Force is formed. Where like Scott Summers says, okay, yes, so like we're the X-Men and we're doing the PR stuff and we're trying to astonish people so they love mutants. But hey, this list of motherfuckers got to die. So hey, Wolverine, why don't you go grab about 4 of these people and go do your thing? So you sound like you'll like, and I like X Force too, actually.
And I it hearing it played back, like I don't want to make it seem like I just want retribution and violence and all this stuff like
No,
that.
but
But
obviously they're not. We're not going to get to a point where that's not necessary. Or if I
yeah,
read you right,
like
like
it's just that like at some point, can we not see like it? And again, kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. But like, can you not? You can see you can see what it is, and I believe that the non mutants also see what it is, but still just will never let go of that bullshit. And the the ultimate problem that I have with them when it comes to the non-mutant side is that like we're just like, oh well, I guess it's just how it goes. No, the fuck it's not how it goes.
right,
Like that's the part that pisses me off. And then on the mutant side, it's like, well, I guess we just have to, you know, abide by them and let them kick us in the dick. And it's just like, no, you don't have to fucking do that either. Like, that's okay. So I guess what you're saying is it welcome to X-Men.
yes, welcome,
Okay.
welcome to X-Men.
Okay. All right. I
And
get it.
that's the genius of
Get
Bo
it.
DeMayo. Look how he got you here, and all you had
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
was sit down and watch
That's
10
true.
half-hour
Now
episodes.
I have the same, you know, never-ending existential threat dread as you guys do. Awesome. All right.
Yep,
I get
yep.
it.
Um, so yeah,
That's
there you
funny.
go. Yeah, there's but so yes, let's talk about now. Let's move kind of, to the future looking here because we got another season after this, but um so yeah, they save the day, but Asteroid M implodes. Half the team goes to Cable's future, like 3,000 years in the future with the Ashanti tribe, which um the main Ashanti chick, she's gonna end up being like Rachel Summers or something like that. The other half go to like 3,000 years in the past in ancient Egypt. And they meet in Sabanur, which of course they know, and a lot of people know that's Apocalypse. So they just met Apocalypse before he becomes Apocalypse. It's actually while he's still kind of being persecuted for being a mutant back in ancient Egypt before he eventually takes that shit over. This is before Apocalypse gets all his armor and fucking technology. What are those big fucking robot things? One of them's coming through the earth from the Eternals. I would, wow, I'd be able to say their name any other fucking time, but I'm
I don't
forgetting
know
it.
what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
Celestials. Yeah, Celestials. That's it.
Oh,
So
yeah. Okay.
before he
All right,
gets
all right.
his hold of his celestial armor and technology and shit. Um, but yeah, so let's see if I remember this correctly. So, Magneto, Storm,
Charles,
Charles Xavier, right?
Storm,
Beast.
Beast.
Because as far as I think, isn't Scott and Jean like the only ones that went to the
Yeah, I
future?
thought Scott and Jean, because Morph with them too. Has to be because he was with Scott and Jean.
Yeah, I think you're right. Morph is, yeah, with them. So anyway, yeah, I think I got everything
Yeah,
there.
that's the part that's weird because Scott, Jean, Morph. No, I guess they all were there, huh? And no, but
All
no, they
except
were all there. They were
Wolverine.
all on
Yeah,
Asteroid M. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wolverine wasn't there no more. And no, Wolverine was in the sick bay at Asteroid M, so he's there too.
right, you're right
Technically,
actually. Yeah, okay.
he's got to be. Yeah,
Although let me look at this board here because okay, so like we said, a bunch of them went to the future 3,000 years, a bunch of them went to the past 3,000
and it
years.
seems like Jean and Scott went to the future,
Right.
and everybody else went to the past.
But Forge is in the present and he's trying to find other X-Men. So this is um
Oh yeah, that's
they
where
must be
Bishop
teasing
comes in.
me. Right, because yeah, Bishop, comes to the the present with Forge. Forge doesn't know him at first, but yeah, they're good friends in the future. Um but yeah, so there's this big board of mutants that are still out there. And Forge is, I guess, going to try and form a new X-Men, or I think he's going to form X-Force. So that's why I said I think they're coming because, I'm just looking at so at Colossus, they keep showing him. I swear to God, he was like in the
Yeah,
middle of I'm like, oh,
yeah.
okay,
I was
okay.
sitting there thinking, oh, Don go like
Yeah.
this one, boy. They got that boy
Um,
right there in the
right
center
there.
frame.
So Kitty Pryde, Emma Frost, Magic, which is Colossus's sister, Exodus, Havoc, Iceman. So yeah, I wonder if we're going to get a new X-Men team or an X-Force team for season 2. That would be great, especially
Yeah, because everybody's gone.
yeah.
Everybody's
Um also
fucking time up.
interesting, and I probably should have mentioned this earlier. Remember that flashback of like or whatever Magneto's were like Rogue and Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch and Polaris were like all on a boat? Yeah, you might not have caught. I actually don't think I caught it till my second viewing, but like that was
No.
interesting because those are all supposed to be like, well, except for Rogue, but those are all like Magneto's kids. But now in the comics, they retconned it to where they're Inhumans and not his kid. I don't know. It's a whole big thing. And they were doing
Oh,
that
okay.
because they were popular characters and they were trying to kill X-Men at the time because they didn't have the X-Men license yet. So anyway, it's a
Oh.
whole big thing. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, so I think we're gonna see X Force. But listen, if Bo DeMeo has shown me one thing, it's he's like he leads you there, but then doesn't. Like I'm
Yeah.
not doing the thing you thought I
That's
was
why
doing.
I again, like, the fact that he is like taking comment on the show and like Marvel's letting him do that. That boy ain't fired. You ain't fired nobody.
You
I think
think
that
so,
sounds
right?
like it was just drama to get you to watch the show or something. They ain't fire that boy. Ain't no way. Taking
Yeah, they
official prep.
really. I mean, because I don't really have any more to say about the episode itself, other than it was great. And the whole season was great. And again, you just it got Jay there in 10 episodes, but because it's gonna be weird though, right? Like if they don't rehire him and we get to the end of season 2, and then so that's gonna be like, okay, everyone hold your breath, right?
Right.
Like that's gonna be so weird for them to deal with.
Season 5 of Community. I think
I'm
it's
not
season 5.
familiar with that. Is that some sort of
Oh,
sitcom that
that's like
changed?
one of the worst seasons ever where they're like, it was so bad. They're like, okay, dude that we fired, you can come back and you can do whatever the fuck you was trying to do last time.
Yeah.
Sorry, we didn't mean to piss you off. Please save the show.
Yeah, so they shouldn't put themselves in that position then and just nip this in the
You would
bud.
think. You would think, right?
Like yeah, I don't get it. I don't know what to tell you. Like I guess some people would assume like a guy like me wouldn't be like, "Oh, Bo DeMeo's fucking awesome," but no, I don't agree with like having an OnlyFans or nothing, but that's me. So that's what somebody else wants to do, and they wants to create killer X-Men shit.
And he wasn't even doing anything in there. He acted like he was over there
You're not
squirting out.
forcing anybody, right?
Like, come on, bro. Like, you act like he was like taking them back shots or something. No, he
Sure.
just had his little nipples out. Relax.
Ezra Miller fucking, is choking a bitch, on video.
Right. Right. Right.
He got to have a whole ass movie that was shitty, and they
I
still
mean,
let him do it.
I guess I understand like image marketing, blah blah blah. Even though I don't,
Okay, but
it's
would we know about
stupid.
anything if he didn't get fired? Like, so what do you do? Like, we still don't
Right.
know.
I didn't even. I wouldn't even thought
Like,
of
just the
going
whole
to.
morph binary thing, being non-binary. Okay, we had whole season 1. If there wasn't a story out that was, hey, morph is non-binary, would we even know? Like,
Yeah. No.
that's how shitty.
Well. I mean, yes, we
He's
would.
right there. We got a little bit of right. I
Somebody
get you. I mean,
would have called it out,
sure.
but no, no one would give a fuck.
Outside of just the obviousness of it, he's a fucking, he morphs.
Right.
Like that's
So what is he truly?
you don't even need a whole lot of allegory there.
Right.
Okay. Well, um yeah, just boy, bring DeMeo back because this is great and it's gonna get weird on season 3. People are gonna be hyper crucial. Just don't even introduce that into this whole thing. Just keep it going. He's got 5 seasons going. Um, I mean, I don't know. I just unless he's really got some fever dream shit for season 5 that are just like, no, we're not doing. But I don't see that. Dude seems to know what he's doing. Dude, he has done a great job just capturing the essence, without directly copying the source material. He's been able to show us, a bit of that and have great storylines that we can enjoy in a TV show. So that's good stuff. All right, well, that's really a lot of emotion in this series in general. I'm glad that it did kind of end happy. I don't know what. Jay, did this end happy to you? I mean, it was continuing, so end maybe not the right vernacular, but
I
was
get
this
what
a
you're trying to
happy
say, though.
conclusion?
No, because what happened to Bastion? Um, how are these mugs gonna get out of this situation? What's gonna happen in the present time? So I wouldn't say it was happy. I think it was a season 2 cliffhanger that they wanted to hang you off a cliff. So good job. And to be honest with you, considering that I know, like I'll put it to you like this. Um, so I recently saw that The Boys got renewed for season 5 and season 4 ain't come out yet. So that means that season 4 better not end happy. You better
Right.
not. You already let me know that this is season 5. I need you better keep me hanging on. Maybe not Homelander jacking off at
I'm
the
about to say you are talking about a show, right? That was their
yeah,
cliffhanger.
maybe not hanging off that cliff. That one threw me a little bit, but no, it's kind of one of those things where I want to be intrigued a little bit. So I think that they accomplished that, and I'm not, I'm just dissatisfied with what I'm dissatisfied with is something that I don't think is ever going to be properly answered. Because realistically, why why would the actual real life way in order to solve our problems be put on a cartoon show? So I don't think my question is ever going to get answered. So um, with that said, I can't hate the ending because I know that when it comes to the whole dream of the goal of the characters, that's not going to be um, done correctly. So I can't hold that against the whole direction of where everything else goes because now they have this whole new obstacle they got to face. They're split up through time and how they're going to get back from that. So that right there is intriguing. So, I guess happy in a sense that there's going to be a season 2, but I'm glad for the cliffhang.
Yeah. One last kind of dumb question for you is well, you know what again, you know what? It's a super dumb question because again, we don't even know where Logan is at this point. And like obviously Magneto's back on Xavier's side. I guess. I mean he decided to save, humanity, basically. So I guess. But I'm just wondering, how long do you think they're gonna go before they replace Wolverine's adamantium? That's kind of a question I have. Like, is this going to happen right away, like early season 2, or are we going to get several seasons with just Bone Claw? Can't
Um,
just.
I don't even really know about that too much, so I will have to learn. But I will say from so I'll give an uneducated guess, and hopefully within the next week we can revisit that, especially considering there's not going to be an episode. Uh, um, and once I get kind of, excuse me, comic book spun up, I can give a better answer. So from what I can tell, um, I don't think that he's gonna get his animanium back, right? That's what it seems like from a super layman point of view. But
Mhm.
considering that's like his thing, sure he's gonna get his animanium back. I don't know how he would without going through the procedure again, which I think is probably what the story arc is gonna be. If I'm probably on the right track on that, right? I don't know.
Well, I mean,
But
in the comics, but I mean that really doesn't matter here in the show because they could do
right,
something totally different. But in the
true, true.
comics, um, he got him
I
back
say,
from Apocalypse
I
by.
say, it, I say it takes. Well, they're gonna have to come back through time, so that's got to get resolved.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna say at least 3 episodes, but halfway through the season.
so mid season 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they could follow the comics, although I don't think they're going to. But so obviously, you caught the mid-credit scene, I assume the mid-credit.
Oh wow. See, I got lazy.
Ah,
No,
okay. Well, then I
I
guess
didn't get to see it.
we'll end this whole thing by talking about the last thing we see,
Yeah.
which there is a mid-credit, ending there. And what it is it's Apocalypse in present day Genosha, like ground zero, and he brings up his hand and he blows dirt and it reveals a, like, tattered, one of Gambit's tattered playing cards. And he's like, "Oh, my children,
Oh,
so much, pain, so much death." And then it cuts.
oh,
So
so you think that Professor Xavier got to Apocalypse, and Apocalypse is like, yo, I'm gonna bring that motherfucker back.
I don't know if Xavier's involved, but yeah, I think that obviously we're gonna see Gambit return as the Horseman of Death. And we
Oh
might get a
yeah,
Wolverine Horseman of Death in the future, since that's
yeah.
might be where Logan is. And again, like I said in the comics, he does get his adamantium back from Apocalypse. But that's the whole thing where, like, Sabretooth now has the adamantium, and Apocalypse is like, "Oh, you kill Sabretooth, you defeat him, I'll let you have." Anyway, whole thing. But Wolverine did, without adamantium, defeat a Sabretooth with adamantium. So anyway, crazy shit, but they can set it up to where Wolverine can also be a horseman. So we'll see how that goes, but it's a lot of Apocalypse going on. So yeah, we saw the En Sabanur, right, when they were in Egypt. So they saw the young Apocalypse, but we saw the present day Apocalypse in the mid-credit scene, and I'm sure the Apocalypse that rules the world is in the timeline where, Scott and Jean are. And they, of course, meet Nathan. They meet Nathan. So they do go to the time where they sent Nathan. So that's a whole nother dynamic. So lots of stuff. Lots of stuff to look forward to in
Yeah,
season
man.
2.
I'm
Okay.
ready.
All right.
When's
Well,
that supposed to be coming out?
I don't know. Let's see if I can search that up for us here real quick. All right. I'm not getting a date there. So stay
Yeah,
tuned. I'll announce it on here. All right. Well, that was a lot of talk, but listen,
likely in
lot.
2025.
Yeah, they shouldn't. It better be early 2025 too. Like, I don't want to wait.
Yeah, January 2nd.
Better be in production now. Production now.
Right.
All right. Well, hey, I'm gonna end it there because we said a lot, and there's a lot to digest, and there's still gonna be a lot to think about. But let us know what you thought of the season finale of X-Men '97 season 1. Were you surprised like me that they didn't do Onslaught? Are you appreciating that, even with comic knowledge, you can still be surprised? So, what do you think's going to happen next in season 2? And what were your favorite Boom Boom Pow moments? So, let us know in the comments. But hey, until next time, see you later. Hey, thank you so much for sticking with the video for this long. I truly appreciate it. As you can see, we are a very small channel, and I really do appreciate any help that you can give us. We are looking to get past the hate algorithm, so please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and give us a comment or two, even if it's just to say hi. It would be greatly appreciated. Oh, and feel free to check out another video. Have a great one.